Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again. This is your man Roy coming at you with another Marvel Contest of Champions champion overview video. And today we're going to look at one of the oldest mutant characters, I think. One who in recent times has had one of the overhaul buffs attributed to him. Today we're going to look at Old Man Logan. Now, a lot of people, when the buff went active, initially were quite happy because the original Old Man Logan was somewhat of a wet paper bag in use. But after the buff went live, a lot of people felt that the buff didn't really do the character justice. And I think that in the right scenario, and if you know how to play him, this guy can actually pack quite a wall up in the right matchup, and especially if we're up against bleed dependent champions, because of his ability to shrug those off while in regeneration. But we're skipping ahead. This part 1 video, as always, we're going to look at the fully maxed out 6-star version and how to beat him. It's not going to come as any major surprise, I don't think, this video, but we'll go through his abilities and show you the video and attacking him and how you can best beat him. And then the part 2 video, we're going to take a look at how you can effectively utilise him as an attacker. And I think that'll be the main focus of these 2 videos, because to defeat him as a defender doesn't take too much work. It's really just knowing his animations and special attack baits and things like that, same as with most of the other champions we've had a look at throughout these videos. So I'm going to jump straight into this and have a look for Old Man Logan, and let's take a look at him. Okay, so as always, if you've seen any of these videos before, we're going to take a look at his base abilities and then have a look at his awakened abilities, have a quick look at the synergies that he has, and then launch into a fight against this guy. So, the difference between Old Man Logan and normal Wolverine is his constant regeneration, or more accurate ability accuracy of his regeneration. It's not as potent a regeneration as Wolverine, but it is steady. So 100% chance every 20 seconds to gain a regen buff, which in this case heals 3,456.6 health over 20 seconds. It works out to just about 10% at max sig. Okay, so every 20 seconds, 10% regen, it's not bad. You know, there's worse regens in the game. And you know it's always active because with the next ability, his ability accuracy cannot be decreased or increased. So against those champions or any nodes where ability accuracy may be reduced, it can't be affected. So we're always guaranteed that 10% regen over 20 seconds. So it's actually really useful in the longer matchups if you know how to play this character and can survive the fight, you know, and utilise his abilities well, then he's going to have that consistent regen. When not fighting tech champions, he gains increased his base critical resistance. So against champions that rely on crit damage, we're going to get resistance to that. And special attack 3 ignores armor rating, so it's going to pack a punch regardless of any armor that's up on the champion. So when we're either landing attacks, when we're blocking attacks, or when we're being struck, we have a 75% chance to gain a passive bleed. Now this lasts 5 seconds and does 0 damage with a maximum of 15 stacks. Now this is where Old Man Logan's abilities rely heavily on. So the more passive bleeds we've got, the more this guy is going to increase his attack and do some more damage. Now if we are inflicting a bleed on the opponent and they purify it, then they instantly take direct damage for each bleed to purify. So really good matchups against champions like Night Thrasher if he's knocked down. Any nullify ability opponents, you know, it's really, really useful because if we hit that bleed, then they're still going to take direct damage from that bleed. Old Man Logan's heavy attacks, the first hit has a 100% chance and again his ability accuracy cannot be reduced, to refresh the duration of all of Logan's 0 damage passive bleed effects. So if we're getting the stacks up and they're almost coming to end of duration, by hitting a heavy attack, the first hit, unsuccessful hit, will refresh the duration of all of them that are on there. So if you've hit 5 hits, for each hit that's going to start the countdown for the 5 seconds, but on the first hit of the heavy attack it's going to refresh the duration of all of them. So it's a really, really good way to reset that 5-second timer for the passive bleeds and keep them at maximum capacity. And the second hit has a 100% chance to pause the duration of any active fury buffs, or any and all fury buffs, for 2 seconds. So we'll come on to that in a second with the fury buffs. So heavy attacks, bleeds and furies is where this guy really comes into his own. So when we launch a special attack, Logan removes all regeneration and bleed effects from himself, gaining 1 fury buff for each effect removed in this way. Now these buffs last 12 seconds and grant an increase to attack, and again the maximum stack is 15, same as the passive bleeds. So using this mechanic, if we can get the passive bleeds up to a point, so say 10, 15, that's 2 5-hit combos. So ideally you want to do a 5-hit combo, heavy attack. It's going to reset that 5-second duration for the passive bleeds. Ideally, the opponent's going to give you another opportunity to launch another 5-hit combo, and then you're going to hit another heavy attack. So that's going to give us 10. If we can then hit another 5-hit combo within that duration of 5 seconds, that gives us 15. And then you're most likely going to be at a special 1 level with the 5-hit combos. We're going to have 15 stacks of Fury passive. So that's how we get the damage up. 15 stacks of increased attack in this case is going to give us over 4,000, 5,000 attack increase based on the 6-star fully maxed out. Obviously, any Old Man Logan that you have yourself is going to be smaller than that, but it's still going to be a significant attack increase based on your base stats. And special attacks are unblockable if Logan has 5 or more Fury. So basically, if you've got 5 or more passive bleeds, when you launch a special attack, it's going to be unblockable because you're converting those straight into Fury buffs. Okay, so you don't need to worry about missing a combo or missing it if you're just at the crux of losing those passive bleeds, but you've got a special attack lined up. Launching it is going to be unblockable, converting that to Fury, and you're going to deal all the damage. Now, more specifically, Special Attack 1 has a 100% chance to inflict an armor break debuff, removing an armor up and reducing armor rating by 700 odd, in this case for 10 seconds. Not the greatest armor reduction, but any armor reduction is better than nothing. Special Attack 2, 80% chance per strike to inflict a bleed debuff, dealing direct damage over 5 seconds. And each critical hit also has an 80% chance to inflict a critical bleed. So this lasts 5 seconds and deals the same amount of damage, but it's multiplied by your critical damage multiplier. So if you've got any ability increase for your critical damage, make sure your mastery setup is set up right if you are utilising this champion, or if you're putting them in Alliance War on a defense node. Anything that increases this guy's critical damage multiplier, the special 2 is going to hurt if those criticals are hit. I said it's 80% chance so per critical hit, so the more you can get your critical rating up as well, then the more chance you've got of hitting those crit damage for massive damage. Then Special 3, 100% chance to inflict a deep bleed debuff. It counts as a bleed effect, lasts 35 seconds, and deals silly damage. So it's just over double what the normal bleed in the Special 2 would do. So it's more damage, but it's over a longer period of time. If Logan has 5 or more Fury buffs, then he inflicts an additional deep bleed. So if you've got 5 or more Fury buffs at the launch of Special 3, then we're going to be dealing, in this case, 8,000 damage over 35 seconds. which is huge bleed damage. And when Deep Bleed is active, Logan's attacks gain 700 increased critical rating and ignore physical resistance. So it is good against champions such as Punisher or Gambit, that have increased physical resistance. Any node that increases physical resistance is going to ignore that. But we are relying on going up against champions that are bleed immune. If they aren't susceptible to bleed, then this guy is going to struggle to deal the damage that he needs to really do. So really, the attacking mechanic that we'll look at in video 2, you're wanting to get up to your special 3 with the bleeds, the passive bleeds converted into furies, launching special attack 3 at that point, and ideally if you can rotate back up to special 2 with that increased critical rating while Deep Bleed is active for the 35 seconds, because then you're going to increase the chance of dealing those critical bleeds for massive damage again on the back of that. So we're all about the bleeds with this guy. Then the signature ability, so whenever Logan gains one of his passive bleeds, it has, in this case, maxed out 61% chance to gain 400% duration. So you want high sigs on this guy if you've got him awakened, because it's going to give you more chance for converting those passive bleeds for a longer duration when you gain them, which is going to give you more ability to stack them up, to convert them to furies, to build up to that special 3. And then the first special attack each fight gains a massive boost, in this case an attack rating. So ideally you want to get up to the special 3 as your first special attack, because it's going to benefit from that attack bonus when awakened. It's going to increase that deep bleed effect for 35 seconds and give you that increase in crit rating to then cycle back through to special 2 and deal some serious damage. In terms of synergies with Old Man Logan, specifically, there's not much to write home, but there is a few pretty quirky ones that in the right matchup can be really useful. So Enhanced Adamantium with MCoC and X23. So MCoC gains 1000 energy resistance if Force Field is active. So again, useful for blocking the effects of any champions that deal energy damage. And if Force Field is active, it's a really good counter to Electro, Korg, and Magic as well. X23, any bleeds coming in on her from enemies suffer a 25% reduction in their potency. And Old Man Logan gains 10% attack rating, and all attacks have a 20% chance to remove one rock stack or rock shield. So by pairing them up with one of these two, a good way to try and alleviate stacks on either Thing or Korg specifically, to allow the damage to be done to those. With Mysterio, then when Mysterio regenerates from the use of the reflection gas, then he heals an additional flat 10% health, so a good little bit of a health top up from him. Old Man Logan, the first time Logan gains a 0 damage passive bleed, each fight he gains 2 more, and his regen rate's increased by 10%. So it increases that regen rate that he's always got, that 20 seconds, but also is able to quickly build up the amount of passive bleeds he's got from the first one each fight, to then convert that hopefully to a Fury buff. And if we've got him awakened, then he's got that chance of the additional 400% increased duration. And then 130 armor rating with Hawkeye, 155 increase to critical rating with Wolverine, and a 6% attack with Hulk. So later 3, not too much. Also still left over from his OG days, but the other 2 can be relatively useful if push comes to shove. So obviously, if you're going to fight this guy, and if you're going up against him, I would recommend a bleed immune champion. It's just common sense. We're going to try and bring in somebody that I don't use too often, as we did in the last video. So we're going to use Ultron in this. And Ultron can be quite good. I don't know, I haven't used him in this fight yet, but he might be able to cauterize the passive bleeds, so it might be a little bit of a good counter. We'll give it a try. Yeah, it doesn't cauterize the passive bleeds. But yeah, because it had above 5 there, it was unblockable. So it's the same special attack animations as Wolverine. The heavy attack is the same as he had before, which is a kind of double hit spike. So he kind of launches one forward and then the other. But Ultron takes care of him pretty easily. And again, if we do muck up, then we're not going to leave ourselves open to any bleed effects that might come. So all in all, as a defender, it is not much to write home about. If you know the animations, you know, it's all melee attacks, there's no ranged attacks, so they're easily avoidable. Bringing a bleed immune champion pretty much negates most of his abilities. He is going to gain an increase in attack from receiving the passive bleeds that you strike on him, and the attacks are unblockable, so as long as you're aware of that and don't get hit, this champion shouldn't give you too much bother. But it's just about paying attention and make sure you've got a parry and dex and downright, and keep an eye out on baiting the special attacks so that you can avoid them and stay away from them if he is at more than 5 passive bleeds, which convert to furies, make him unblockable. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. As always, if you did, make sure and hit the like button. Make sure and subscribe to the channel as well, and hit the little notification button so you know when new videos are going up. And if you had any comments about this or any other videos that we've posted on the channel so far, then drop a note below and we'll get back to you on it. But that's all for now, folks. Until next time, we'll catch up with you soon. Take care, all the best, and stay safe. Thank you very much.